Just come on just about a minute early to wait on this alert to go out. We'll be ready to roll. We got a good devotion this morning. Working on a new camera, so y'all have to be patient with me. Been using my phone about 5 years. My phone is a high dollar phone. Come from Walmart for $69. So, hey, we getting this camera figured out. It may take me a little bit, but it won't take us long. I appreciate we got 2 IT guys at the church. They sure are good to me. I know they probably think, Lord, this old boy here straight out of the river bottom or something. He's out of the country, but hey, we getting it done. Good morning. Hope your day's off to a fine start. As Horace McQueen would say every morning when I was a kid, we'd get up. My mom would be cooking breakfast for me before the bus picked me up, and I remember Horace McQueen playing on the TV, and that's the first thing he'd say. Hope your day's off to a fine start. So I still remember that from a little boy. October the 7th. It's our devotion today. The title of it is Yes and No. Let's think about that. Yes and no. The scriptures, 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 17. 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 17 says, love the brotherhood of believers. Now let's say that together and realize what God's asking us to do. 1 Peter 2, verse 17, he says, love the brotherhood of believers. So we are to love our brothers and sisters in Christ. May not mean that we always agree with them, but we love them. And so most of us, this is where the mule throws Tony. That's what my mama used to say when I was a little boy. They grew up down there in the river bottom, hoeing cotton. And her daddy, which would be my grandpa, plowed with mules most of his life. And that's where she would say, well, this here's where it's going to get hard. And when she said where the mule throwed Tony, that means where it gets a little hard, where we tend to want to cut out. So this is some good stuff. 1 Peter 2:17 says, love the brotherhood of believers. Anyone who is a believer in Jesus Christ, we are to love them. Didn't say you have to agree with them 100%. But when you get to where you're not, and I'm not walking in love toward other people, it ain't a good place. Now, there's 1,000 directions I could teach on that about our heart. So he tells us to love the brotherhood of believers. He didn't finish that with 18,000 excuses. He said, love the brotherhood of believers. Here we go. Someone has wisely observed that if we ever found the perfect church, it would be imperfect the minute you and I joined it. Any of us. We Christians aren't perfect, and we don't become perfect when we join together in a church. Everybody, we realize that. We're not perfect, never going to be perfect. There's only one perfect person. And if there was a perfect church, the first person that walked in the door, it would be imperfect. We know that. I talk about that a lot. The truth, however, doesn't excuse lovelessness and wrongdoing in any fellowship of believers. Even though we're not perfect, it doesn't excuse, I love this, lovelessness. Did you know most problems between people will settle when you say, God, let me see people through your eyes. Help me to walk in love. So it doesn't excuse lovelessness or wrongdoing in any fellowship of believers. In God's plan, churches should what? Reflect Jesus Christ. And when church leaders or church members do wrong, they bring dishonor to his name, not us. So what he's saying is we're to love all believers. Is that easy? Heck no, ain't nothing about this easy. That's why when you come to Jesus, you better pack your hat down. Old bull riders understand this talk. Pop your jaw a little bit. Whatever you got to do to get your mind right. And get focused on being the man or woman that God called you to be. He didn't call you to be perfect. He didn't call you to, to do something crazy or anything. I mean, he might tell you to do something that you think's crazy, but it's not to him. So your first calling is to love people. It's kind of like the guy yesterday. We had a good service yesterday, and I told the story where I got called number 1. I was out by the road on Peanut, just waving at traffic, and a guy shot me the finger. Used to, that made me mad. And I'd had all these different plans, and I just laugh about it now because, hey, I love that dude, whoever he was. He don't know it. He may not. He may know it, and he may not. But Jesus loves him vastly, and God may be testing me. So I learned to just do my best to love people. Not everybody's easy to love. I'm sure I ain't. But hey, guess what? We are called to love other people, and that represents Christ. People see Christ through us when we do that. Can a person be a Christian without going to church? Billy Graham asked this question. Is a walk through the woods or relaxing game of golf as spiritually uplifting as a service of worship? Is another question Billy Graham asked. The answer is both yes and no. That's where our title come from today. Yes, when you come to Christ, commit your life to him. God accepts us as an individual. This is my favorite part, just as you are. But I'm going to carry it on and put a little Chet Strain in here. God accepts you and I when we come to him just as we are. Yet he loves you and I too much to let us stay that way. We are transformed. The longer that we walk with Jesus Christ, the more we surrender to him, the more we get in his word, there's less of us and more of him. And sometimes he draws us closer to himself when we reflect on his beauty or enjoy his good gifts. That's why I like the old song we sing at church sometimes, in a hayfield or a deer stand. I love sitting on a deer stand. It's quiet. Thank God my phone's on silent. And I get out there, and if I kill a deer, that's when the work starts. I don't really care if I kill one or not. I just enjoy getting out there in nature, watching deer, hogs, whatever, birds, just listening to the quietness of the simple things in life. So, nothing wrong with being outside. But when you come to Christ, you also become part of his family. Every true Christian is now your brother and sister. Let me back up. When we come to Christ, we become a part of his family. The fellowship of the unashamed. A family that we didn't deserve to be in, but God adopted us. If you ever been adopted, ever knew anybody that been adopted, it means so much when we are adopted into God's family. When you come to Christ, you become a part of his family. Every true Christian is now your brother and sister. And you need each other. We draw from each other. Don't use your church's imperfections. This is a good little Bible study. We don't do it at our church. I just tell you straight up, ain't none of us perfect here before we get started. Sometimes God uses the differences between me and you. See, we like people that tend to be just like us. It's just human nature. But God puts you together with people to, just like a rasp, when I look down a horse's foot to see if that thing's level, if it's high on one side, this is not rocket science. I need to bring down this high side and get that foot level where it's balanced. Same with you. We got some high spots on us. Sometimes, just like that rasp, God uses other people, and they become a rasp and knock the rough edges off of us to get us leveled out where we need to be. The very thing you thought was going to kill you made you a better person. Gets the rough edges off of us. We're called to love one another. Don't use your church's imperfections as an excuse to stay away. But ask God to use the preaching of his word and your fellowship with other believers to make you more like Christ. Guys, that is as good as it gets. God knocks the rough edges off of us. Wisdom for today. Billy Graham always writes out a little prayer. It says, our church families are made up of imperfect people, just like our earthly families. Father. So he's going to him in prayer. I'm going to back that up. Our church families are made up of imperfect people, just like our earthly family. Father, help us love one another in your name. Let me explain something to you. Always look for good in people. You say, well, why do you do that? Well, aren't you glad that Jesus looks for good in people? Because when you were at your worst, this will make my allergies flare up. When you were at your worst, he still loved you anyway. Jesus met me in a gravel parking lot at a Cowboy Church in Trinity, Texas in 1993. I wasn't worth knocking in the head. And I wasn't a bad person. Just going to some rodeos, trying to get this bull riding thing figured out, and yet just living life, Not really thinking, young 23-year-old, just thinking I'm going to live forever, not thinking about the future much, just wanting to get this bull riding deal figured out. Well, I met Jesus in that gravel parking lot that night because a bow-legged cowboy preacher told me that he loved me and he would meet me where I was. So he met me where I was at. I was brought in and grafted into the family of God. And then my life, golly, I'm not even the same person. Can't even remember my life before Christ. Number one, because it was 31 years ago. But more than that, I'm not even the same person I was, because every day, every year, every minute, every second, every 10 years, as long as you walk with Christ, the goal is to be less of us and more of him. See, we're just PVC pipe. Nobody comes over to your house. I just got me some water in this cup because my throat was dry this morning. And I tell you what, this is some good, good water. But nobody could come over and I could get you a little cup of water, would say, wow, this water is so good. I wish I could see the pipe that it come in. What kind of pipe, what brand pipe, PVC pipe is that water running through? I ain't never had nobody ask me that, probably never will. See, people don't need, we're just PVC pipe. They need the water that flows through us. Nobody gets excited about what brand PVC pipe is running, your water's running through. When they turn that spigot on, they want the water. Same with us. We're just PVC pipe. So don't hold up the water. Don't get a kink in you or a leak. Be good PVC and let people see Christ through you. They don't need me and you. They need what we're carrying, and that is the message and the love of Jesus Christ. So what a great devotion today. 1 Peter 2:17, one more time, says, love the brotherhood of believers. Write down on your calendar, October the 16th. Bubba Rutherford from Rutherford Land and Cattle. Look him up on Facebook. Man, he's got a big following, does a lot of stuff. Sells a lot of cattle. Good cow man. And he uses his platform with cattle to share the gospel. So it's going to be a great service on October the 16th. He will be at Jasper County Cowboy Church. Tune in at 7 o'clock, or when you get home after church, tune in on it. We're going to talk about how God uses us as ordinary, everyday people to hoe our row and get in our lane. So be planning on October the 16th. And don't forget, October the 17th is our men's gathering. Call the church office. Get on the church app. While I'm on that, download that church app. It's a one-stop shop. You can fill out your membership right there. You can take a spiritual gifts test. You can give online. You can put something on the prayer wall. There's things on there that I'm still working on. But it's a one-stop shop. Get that app downloaded. You can sign up for events. Sign up for this men's meeting October the 17th on the app. You can call the church office, let Miss Rachel know you're coming. You can sign up in person at the welcome wagon desk. But I want the guys to get you a hit list. Bring some men with you so that we can impart into their lives. That's October the 17th. Back to October the 16th. It's going to be a live testimony with Bubba Rutherford Land and Cattle. All right. Hey, we can all hoe our own row and be a witness for Christ wherever he puts us. So love you guys. What a great devotion today. If y'all need me, holla. Me and Miss Allison actually going to slip out for a day or two. And we're looking pretty, we're looking forward to it. So y'all be blessed. Y'all have a good week. Let's let our light shine for Jesus. I'll see y'all in the morning, same time.